Hello and welcome to Revamped, a rewatch podcast covering my all-time favorite shows and movies. I'm your host, Brandon Alexander.
And I'm your co-host, Courtney Autumn.
Together, we've been journeying through Buffy the Vampire Slayer, patrolling the streets of Sunnydale, but now our path expands beyond the Hellmouth as we continue to follow Buffy's battles and growth.
We also step into the shadowy streets of Los Angeles to join Angel on his quest for redemption and his fight to discover what it truly means to be a champion.
Venture with us through every episode in order as we experience the story from two perspectives, Courtney's first time watch and my seasoned rewatch, doubling down on the themes and moments that shape the Buffyverse.
We'll examine pivotal choices, major story arcs, and explore the deeper layers of each show's continued character growth and development.
All while engaging in conversations and sharing our own authentic thoughts and feelings to what's unfolding before us.
So sharpen your stakes, ready your swords,
and continue to stand with us against the forces of darkness as we journey through the supernatural worlds of Buffy the Vampire Slayer
and Angel.
Let's get into this episode.
Hello.
Oh, hello. How are you? Are you back here with me to cover Angel episode 3?
Wait, am I supposed to be doing this too?
But now I have more to edit. Great.
My bad. Okay. At least we haven't started yet, so it'll be easy to find. Just the whole intro section, highlight, delete.
Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Revamped, aka the episode that we're covering, another episode, all the episodes of Angel. Starting with this one, Season 1, Episode 3, In the Dark. Aired October 19th, 1999. Written by Douglas Petrie, remember? Petrie. And directed by Bruce Seth Green, a.k.a. the not Seth Green Bruce version. I haven't said that since like Season 1 of Buffy or some shit, or like early Season 2.
I still only see Seth Green in my head when you say that.
Lich.
So it's fun.
We haven't had him in a while. I like him, though. All right, Courtney, You want to tell us what's going on in this episode?
Yes, I do. Fresh off last week's Buffy, with Spike arriving in Los Angeles, still fixated on reclaiming the Ring of Amara, a gem that renders the owner unkillable, and Oz, having just delivered it to Angel. The situation escalates fast, drawing the team into confrontation with Spike and an even more sadistic vampire who wants the gem for himself.
Ooh, I like that. Guest stars of this episode, we have James Marsters as Spike, Seth Green, not Bruce, as Oz, and Kevin West as Marcus, which I know is Courtney's favorite character from this episode. And by your face change immediately, and she just left the session, I know that that is to be false. She said, time to change it to the holier than thou pod, because Marcus was not anything holy. Except what he was doing to Angel. You like that? How we just segued into that little...
Damn.
Okay, so we were supposed to watch this episode together, but we did not. But that's okay because, you know, we don't always get to do that. It's fine. We watched Buffy. We got to see that blonde bitch over on her show. So that's all that really, truly matters.
I'm kind of sad. It would have been the proper dose of energy I would have needed after that Buffy episode we watched while you were here. Because I was like,
yeah, after all that shit.
This is not it. But this episode, this is it.
Which episode did you like better out of the two? Since we're obviously in our first little crossover episode between the series, the way that this played out this way anyways.
You mean between the Buffy episode we watched?
Yeah, the harsh light of day versus In the Dark. You liked this one?
Yes, for sure.
Why?
Sure. I don't know. Like I just said, it was an appropriate energy compared to that Buffy episode because that was just a really unfortunate circumstantial kind of episode for Buffy because she wasn't in her usual form, which I don't think any of us really like to see, but especially in that case scenario where she's more defeated by real life.
Yeah.
More so than, I mean, she was kind of almost defeated in both ways, but she's just getting kind of her ass handed to her emotionally, and then she becomes really vulnerable to those things. So I think that's unsettling for most viewers, I would hope, because that's so opposite natured of her. And the Angel episode that we're diving into just feels more on par with where Angel is at and where he's always been. And even in the moments where he could have been a lot more like vulnerable to certain things going on, he still is kind of his stoic self, and he didn't buckle or anything like that to whatever was going on. So I don't know, I like it. I like the moments of softness we get with those characters like Buffy and Angel, but I don't like that to drag on the whole episode. So for the Buffy episode, it felt more of like a drag as far as like the energy is concerned, which was harder to watch for me. And this one was more entertaining, and I've noticed anything with Spike in it is entertaining, because he's just so chaotic of a character and a person and all the things. But this one was more fun in general. It was just great. It was really entertaining, and the characters that are on like your not so favorite list of the episode definitely kind of get what they deserve. So
yeah, honestly.
We love to see it.
Well, that kind of like gives a little taste of like what you thought of the episode, which is nice.
Which episode did you like better?
I think I say the Angel episode, but Buffy has my heart, you know. I plucked this apart in my notes, obviously, because I figured it might get reversed back on me. David Wink, but the one time his name will be positively mentioned on this podcast. No positive vibes there for him. Sorry, Joyce. Bye. No, but for real, I like the Angel episode better just because, jokingly, one specific reason compared to Buffy, Parker's not in it. So that's an initial reason. Like when I was writing it down, I wrote that. I was like, well, Parker's not in it, so what's not to fucking like? But then also I had to go back and catch myself, and I was like, wait, hold on, both episodes have two annoying ass men in it. This one we get Marcus, like, who's fucking skeezy and weird, which we'll talk about in general. Both episodes had somebody to kind of cringe over in different ways, but overly like not crazy. I like the elements from the Buffy episode, like the fight that we get, the fact that Harmony's presence is in that episode, so that's why I say it holds my heart in a special way. But I like how this episode carries the baggage from the previous, and how we find Spike like still hell-bent on getting the ring. Just the element of getting to see Angel get this moment at the end that he gets it in this episode, you know what I mean? The weight of option here as well, just because, like, you know, even in the Harsh Light of Day, we were kind of facing, I mentioned, you know, kind of a regurgitation of season 3's little bit of a theme of choice, or a big theme of choice actually, that was going on in general for that season, being in a presence for that episode, because, you know, Parker talks about making that choice and stuff like that, and here we get to see it mirrored from Harsh Light of Day into In the Dark, what Angel's choice is with what he does with this option that he's been presented, you know, how he can carry forward if he would so choose to do. So I think that's why I like the episode, because it's a fresh take on something we haven't seen from Angel, and we get to see a little bit of a vulnerable energy from him as well, because we haven't seen him be tortured since Spike and Drusilla were doing that shit with trying to when they were trying to that was called a revivification. No, that was actually revivification. This is also the word I couldn't say at the end of season 1, so I'm going to leave all this in here so it's a fun callback. But whenever they were trying to bring Drusilla back to power in What's My Line, and Angel strapped to the fucking bed, and Drusilla's pouring the holy water on him, and she's like and shit like that, and literally all that. But like, in a fun way to actually bring this up, in that episode, Angel taunts Spike, and he breaks the bedpost off and is like, I'm going to stake him. And she's like, Spike, no. And he's like, oh, I see what you tried to do there. This episode, Angel doesn't have to taunt him, but he also breaks off a piece of steak and like, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't tell me where this goddamn ring is. So like, interesting where we get these kind of almost memorable and like mirrored like perspectives and energies, like things going on from them. I went off on a tangent with that, so I don't really know where I was going, but just like in general, to see everything that Angel has to face, the vulnerability was where I was at. To see him vulnerable in this episode again, basically kind of be treated as the hostage like situation, like he's been taken, he's the damsel in distress, if we want to go there with it. He's, you know, the Daphne of Scooby-Doo, this one type thing, and we don't get to see that really kind of for Angel. We see him like brooding and like, defenseless half the time on Buffy in certain ways, and her kind of protecting him in aspects or whatever. But like, we've never really seen him, even especially just being 3 episodes in his show, to see this is where they're taking for an episode his character and giving him like, he's in the episode a good bit, but he's also kind of quarantined from the rest of the cast for a like nice little middle to end chunk of it as well. Especially with the fact they bring Oz over onto the show, and they're like, by the way, David, you get all of 3 scenes with him. This is for Doyle and Cordelia to be hanging out with their old pal Oz, except Doyle's not an old pal, like all the things. That's a good segue into saying in episode 1 of Angel, when we covered it, we were saying that some Buffy watchers didn't watch Angel, and some of the viewers from Angel didn't watch Buffy. And I was like, I don't understand how they do that with the show, because could you imagine watching The Harsh Light of Day and never seeing this episode, never knowing about this whole option with Angel in the ring, or just watching Angel, which would be the worst situation, and never having seen Buffy dealing with Spike and all this stuff beforehand, even though it gives you a little cut back intro previously on Buffy and Angel thing at the beginning, but it's only little snippets. You don't get the full context of the story. You just get a quick little flash to say, here's a little bit of information so you're not completely lost, but you don't have the grand spectrum of being like, what was this ring? How did he find it? Like, what is going,
Yeah. Like, I didn't even really think about that. I'm always curious kind of about that perspective. Like, I wish that I could meet someone who's only watched Angel and never Buffy, because I feel like that would be kind of rare to find. But how do you make sense of that? And now I can't think in my head how those scenes are laid out to where if you didn't know from the other show what's going on with context clues, or just a flat out scene missing from that, like, how do you know? I don't know. Does it make sense?
It doesn't. And like that's why I'm like taking the time to speak on it kind of again, because there will be a few other times I kind of want to bring it up across the series when we have little crossover type stuff, because I'm like, how in the hell do you not watch this? And like, people that especially just watch Buffy, you never get to see incredible arcs for characters that get brought on this show in random little moments, or the continuation of their story maybe popping over on Angel for something like Spike in this instance, or even though Oz didn't have a big role, the fact that Oz appeared in an episode of Angel, spoiler alert, this is the only one that he ever appears in, just to say. But how interesting to bring him over. Like, you didn't know anything going into this episode also, so whenever you saw Oz arrive, I know he said, I have that gig in LA, I'll drop it off, but you just assume maybe you'll see that'd be behind the scenes thing, and he'd be like a package left on his door or something. Not Oz actually shows up in the
I didn't,
because it took me by surprise first time watching. Like, oh, what? Oz is actually here? Like, what?
Yeah, no, me too. I didn't. Oh, yeah, like you, I thought that was just going to be one of those vague things that happens behind the scenes, and then next time we are on Angel, we see him with the ring somehow, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Oz came by, and I got the ring," and that's like an exchange we didn't see. So when I saw him, I was like, "Oh shit." And then you see him stay, for the duration of the episode. So that's kind of cool too, because it's not just like, oh, here's the ring, I'm out. He like ends up being kind of like intermixed with the whole situation then. And so you get to see him really as his character in a totally different area. But that's how his acting is great too, because he never loses Oz.
No, he's
like,
able to transition so easily.
And he's just like his normal, and some of the stuff that he says is like, as usual, the funniest. But it was a good surprise.
I think that's one of the elements of the episode that I really enjoy, is the fact that Oz is over here. Just out of all the characters for them to choose to have been spun off of Buffy, other than Spike, they bring this along, and he pairs so well against Cordelia and Doyle, and obviously he knows Angel as well, even though he's not, like I said, on screen with them a whole lot. He has a couple moments, and like, I love at the end, which I want to save it for that, but like, Oz, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you saying? The half the stuff that you say and stuff is just really funny. He kind of is our humor and like comedic relief throughout the episode too, because more serious things are going down, like Cordelia and Doyle are having to like double down on worry more than anything in the episode as well. Ooh, question. What did you think about the version that we get of the Gem of Amarra going from previous episode of Buffy to this one? Like, how they continue the story around the gem? Because obviously at the end of The Harsh Light of Day, she's giving the ring to Angel, don't make a fuss, quote Willow. Getting to see that this crossover and him like have this option, just the fact that he gets presented with the Gem of Amarra, the one vampire that probably should have it, not Spike, because we don't want that in the hands of Spike, because clearly we see he wants to still kill the Slayer even when he has the chance to, for whatever reason. Like, this is all old news and shit, but he's still on that whole shtick from season 2. Calm down, Spike. But Angel would be like the best person to have it. So what do you think about the fact that they decided to continue the story of the Gem of Amarra and what was going on there, and like present that in this show specifically for that, and how it like interweaves with Angel?
I think that because I know Angel as a character, I think that I was interested to maybe see what could come of him making use of it for himself, kind of thing. But I feel like in order to really guarantee its safety, I think he knew that he couldn't just kind of wear it around or something, you know. But especially once Spike makes his presence known, then it was all bets were off. I'm sure that changed his dynamic with like what he was going to do anyways. But yeah, to without going into what we see at the very end yet, it was really touching to see what the potential could be and how it would solve things for so many reasons, you know, and for things we're hopeful for, obviously. So yeah, it's an interesting plot to go with if it were to go there, kind of thing. And if it were like he just wears it and that's that, and you good luck because you can't kill him.
Literally, though. Yeah.
Know?
I mean,
Like,
Xander,
literally.
like the fact that they told him to shut up last episode, Willow, again, quote, Willow, like, this would have just been the one thing that Xander, I know off screen he had to been like in his head being like, God damn it, he's gonna have that. What if he turns into Angelus again? He's got this goddamn ring. He just comes after all of us in the damn daylight this time around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to say that that is what obviously occurs, because we know what occurs, but like not knowing what happens. What if he did decide to keep the ring in general, and this thing happened again to where he like became Angelus and he's now got this all powerful tool. It's wild. The only other thing I feel like I like necessarily, I love the episode, as I've kind of said. I like prefer it over Buffy and stuff, but I like finally kind of getting to see Spike and Angel against each other and actually dueling in a different way. We've never seen these two fight this way. We've seen them bicker. I feel like I don't feel like we've seen actual fisticuffs like occur between the two, because when Spike was in the wheelchair on season 2, he was just he couldn't do anything. He was powerless, and him and Drusilla were fighting in the background of Becoming Part 2, whereas Buffy was taking on Angelus and all of that. We haven't had any scenes where they were fighting each other. When he came back in Lover's Walk, it was him working with Buffy and Angel versus fighting the two of them. So we've never seen him take on Angel and say like his goal is to kill him. It's cool to see these two fight, and like knowing the fact that they have history as well, especially as you get later down the line of the series, and maybe some more things from Bella, we get trips to the past or things like that possibly might center around like between any of our characters that could show up in that way, or people that we don't even know about. Maybe it's cool to see how it plays out for these two here, and like this almost battle they've always kind of had going on, because you can see that in season 2 of Buffy, like they've got this spite against each other and whatnot. You get that really quickly on more middle of the season, and mostly because Spike gets annoyed by Angel and the whole having a soul thing. So I really like watching them get to fight and duel over here. And not only is Buffy able to always kick Spike's ass, apparently Angel is always able to kick Spike's ass. And just having Spike's presence on this show, along with having him come back from Buffy, it, like you said, Spike's really fun when he pops back up. And Spike that we saw in Lover's Walk was the first little take of this version of Spike we saw, because he had his little moments in season 2, but mostly, like I said, he was wheeling around in a wheelchair, and in the beginning half of the season, very vicious, and had his little one-liners and quotes and quips and things about him, his directional take on certain like things, where how he perceived them and how he wanted to commentate on them. But since Lover's Walk, he's been more like, I don't know, jokey in a way. Like, jokey's not the right word. I don't know what I want to say in the moment, but he's gassed himself up in a little bit of a way. The beginning even of this episode, which we're about to get into just a second, because I got to get into the episode walkthrough. Like, it's so funny to see him mocking Angel and things like that. And behind the scenes, I don't know, he's got this hoity-toity, like, I'm holding my belt and like, you're a motherfucker. I don't know how to explain it, but he's a fun one up to Angel. And how cool that they brought Spike over onto this show to be like this week's villain, somebody that's notorious for being a horrible footnote in history, you know?
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's all I gotta say, because now we got to get into the episode.
Let's do it.
All right, great. We found our side character Rachel being chased down an alley in downtown Los Angeles at night from what we would assume is a vampire. But nope, it's her abusive boyfriend, Lenny. So based on what he says to her in this little interaction and then the dialogue, I'm assuming that she's got multiple men going around because contextually you don't really get it. But he's become upset about that because the stuff he says, he's like, you're like all these other guys, you're lying to me and blah, 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 blah. Clearly he's a psycho boyfriend. We know this. But like, yes. I was like, Rachel, do you also have like 4 other men that you be playing around with and stuff? Because the way she like comes at him and she's like, oh baby, like calm down, blah, 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 like kind of petting his chest and shit like that. He's like, no, bitch, I'm about to shoot you. Like... like I don't know. I want to know those extra little things. Does she like? I mean, we kind of found out the episode like she's more in a serious relationship with him and stuff. But what is he talking about these other guys? And what is she doing to like possibly piss him off and things? Not to say that it's like warranted of her behavior.
I mean, who's to say that he's not so possessive that she could have just been like standing next to some random group of dudes at the bar and she's like talking to the bartender trying to order
fucking the bartender.
And because this group of men is just solely standing next to her now, all of a sudden that means she's engaging with them and he's freaking out because they're in her bubble and he's possessive and clearly crazy. And clearly, like she says later in the episode, I think he's like on crack or something.
Lenny's on
literally.
Crack.
Because she was like, what did she say? Something about like how she joneses for him. Like he joneses for
a rock.
Like, or whatever. And I was like, oh, dang. She said he's a crackhead.
She's the past version of what's his face. Oh man, what's his fucking name? Who's the crackhead? Detroit Unseen. The past version of Detroit Unseen. That episode had me die. And we talking about dope and like doing all this other shit and stuff. And he was like, I read out this bitch when I was all fucked up and shit.
I love it. I've never like talked to an urbexer who started urbexing because he used to live in a bando because he was homeless. This is the first and probably the last,
Lenny.
But anyways.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I could see that where on the flip side of things, I wasn't trying to say like just to make that very clear to everybody that like she was in the wrong or the possibility of that. It's just like contextual to this opening moment until we progress later in the episode. That was my first initial thoughts. Like anytime I would originally watch the episode, the first handful of times, and I was like, well, what is she doing? But like also that's the other polar side of it, because what if she is just like the guy's like, hey, could you hand me that like napkin over there? And Lenny's walking back up and he's like, did you just suck his dick in the bathroom, bitch? Like I know you fucking did. And then she's like, what the fuck? I handed his ass a napkin. Like what the fuck? Yeah. She begs for him to not harm her and tries to calm him down as he spats off about how she's playing games. I'm sure that she's probably not. As she says, he's only like this when he, to which we will never know the rest of the statement because he smacks her backwards, drawing a gun on her because he's not about pulverizing tonight. I wrote that way because she's like, what are you going to do? Pulverize me right here? And he's like, bitch, it's downtown LA in the middle of the fucking night. There ain't nobody out here to hear you scream and shit like that. Plus also gunfire. Like, you ain't gonna hear that either. He goes, don't walk away from me, bitch. Do you remember that one? He starts to pull the trigger, but is quickly whoop whoop duped and booped and laid out by Angel. We find Rachel had called Angel to help her since she's helpless. Call the helpless, help the helpless. It's his vibe. And he showed up just as our hero should. They continue to chat as we pan to the building rooftop just above the alley as Spike narrates sarcastically looking down to them in his special I hate Angel the big strapping hero way on their convo.
How can I thank you, you mysterious black-clad hunk of a night thing? No need, little lady. Your tears of gratitude are enough for me. You see, I was once a badass vampire, but love and a pesky curse defanged me. And now I'm just a big, fluffy puppy with bad teeth. No, not the hair. Never the hair. But there must be some way I can show my appreciation. No. Helping those in need's my job. And working up a load of sexual tension and prancing away like a magnificent poof is truly thanks enough. I understand. I have a nephew who's gay, so say no more. Evil's still afoot. And I'm almost out of that Nancy boy hair gel I like so much. Quickly, to the Angel Mobile. Away.
This motherfucker is so hilarious to listen to him narrate what they're saying down below. Some key points I thought was funny. He's like, it's fine, I have a nephew that's gay. And he's like, a curse defanged me. And like, I'm the Trump warrior. Like, you know, the way he's like speaking and the playing the angel. Oh, angel. Like the way he's saying the girl's voice and stuff. And like the play on the, like, he's like, off to the Angel Mobile instead of the Batmobile. Like, so he's even get it that it's the Batmobile thing. Like, because Angel's clearly Batman on the show, and also Spider-Man, and also Iron Man, and Superman, and, you know, every other fucking superhero that you could ever put out there, as we've seen with all his gadgets and doodads. But that whole scene is fucking funny. I really hope you were just dying laughing in your mind, even if not expulsively out loud. Whenever you're like, this motherfucker. He lights a Camel Crush cig as he snarks to himself, watching them walk away about how he's come here to retrieve the Gem of Amara Buffy stole from him, clearly knowing she'd send it off to his pal Angel. And oh yeah, he also plans to bring about Angel's gruesome, horrible death. We cut to black and cue the Angel theme. Oh my god.
Put some bass into it.
Pop my booty up like I'm twerking while I'm listening to this fucking theme song. It's a bop. Oh my god. Okay, crazy. Anyways, Oz travels down the road in his van before pulling up out front of Angel Investigations building whenever we come back in from the credits. Whenever I watch this little thing, I think that's the one thing I really paid attention to on the outside. He's got like a little Volcom skater sticker in his windshield, and I was like, look at Oz. Like, it makes sense for him to have this grungy van skater, you know, alternative style, but like more on that side of things because he's a musician and shit versus going down like the full goth aspect, or like, you know, he shopped at PacSun.
He's like in a band.
We never see his shoes, but we know he's wearing etnies right now, you know. DC, probably a Volcom belt. All the things. PacSun/Journeys. Cordelia inside sits with Doyle doing computer work and commenting on how this help the helpless for a fee thing worked out with her first walk-in, Rachel, as she prints the invoice excitedly. I love this little motion of her with the little piece of paper, because this is what ends up in the credits for Angel during Cordelia's little, or not Cordelia, Charisma Carpenter's little, whatever they want to call that, the caption for her. Her name comes up on the screen. Her title card, you know, the thing. And she shows it to Doyle, and he starts to laugh, reminding her that this is not money, that's just a paper, and thinking that she may flake on the payment, like being down and low, because the person that they're helping is, you know, a crummy, low life typey vibe. Like, she's got a shitty boyfriend. Like, the fact that she's probably not going to come through with this money, she's just going to like ghost these motherfuckers, is hella an option, which makes sense. It's not like what they go on to talk about suggesting they need wealthier clients, you know, like people that can pay what Cordelia eventually 100% shuts down his dreams of, like, them on their cruise to the Bahamas together. I say together because he like says it. He doesn't say together. He says together, like an Irish person's accent, obviously, because he's Irish, in real life and in the show.
It reminded. Did you watch The Traitors? It reminded me of Moira. The Traitors. The show? You don't watch The Traitors? Okay. Well, anyway, there's this girl on there. I think she's like from Scotland or something, and she's always like, what did she say? Oh, she was talking about someone's throwaway vote, because they have to like meet at a round table and vote and stuff. And she was talking about someone's throwaway vote, and she was like, not the throwaway vote.
I love it when I hear it, just because it's different, because most of the time you just hear born ass like English speaking white people on the shows. So even Giles and Spike's accent being English and different is nice.
It just makes it more
Kendra, when she was on the show, like, I think it's a good idea. Like, no, bitch, the H needs to be in there. What you talking about, tink? Like, what, you tinkled? Like, you just pissed her pants?
She'd be saying throwaway.
She'd be saying throwaway because she don't know how to pronounce an H. Like, exactly. Well, good old Oz enters, and Cordy is super stoked, rushing over to give her total embodiment of Sunnydale a hug, asking how the Bronze and the gang are, him claiming good. You know, because these are the two things. She's like, how's the Bronze? I'm like, bro, it's a nightclub. What are you talking about? How's the Bronze? Because it's like, it's in a, like she said, the embodiment of things Sunnydale. When you hear Sunnydale, you think the Bronze, you think, you know, the gang and stuff. You think like, what evil is afoot? Like over there, like what monster did y'all have this week show up in town and try to kill everybody? That's honestly what Cordelia probably should ask next. I said axed, like, wow. Either way, Oz claims everybody's good, especially the Bronze, thus ending the serious catching up Cordy voiced they needed to do. I love that. She's like, oh, we have so much catching up to do. She has 2 questions. She's like, I guess we're done. He's like, yeah, I guess so. Oz pokes a little fun at the fact that they are all detectives now. He's like, so what, you guys are detectives now or something? And she's like, no, I'm an actress. Reminding him of the fact like that. I'm like, what are you reminding him of? Like the fact that you're an actress? Like, bitch, he doesn't know this. I'm like, I'm talking about reminding him.
Like, we have yet to see you go
except
act.
whenever she was acting in episode 1 trying to tell Angel that she was a serious actress now. Lies. Going off to talk to people that matters. Either way. Apparently she sometimes chooses to help out Detective Angel, who in fact does not have a little hat and gun, just fangs. I like that little comment. They take him downstairs to meet up with Angel, who is surprised to see him there exchanging between one another short non-committal phrases in their greeting. Doyle commenting on it, and Oz noting he and Angel are usually laconic. Just in case, obviously. Vocabulary lesson time. The word laconic, am I saying that right? I'm not about to say laconis. Like, I think it's laconic. Laconic? Who knows? I don't remember now because I'm not hearing them say it.
You're like, vocabulary lesson time. I don't know how to say it.
But it is spelled LACONIC. 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 Who knows? Laconique. The French version. Anyways, that word means to describe speech, writing, or a person using very few words, often to the point of seeming blunt or mysterious. You're welcome. Now back to the show. Oz wastes no time presenting the ring to Angel, and Doyle and Angel immediately clock what it is. Oz informing that Buffy wanted him to have it.
Hey, Buffy. How is good old Buffy anyway?
She's...
What, still the brave little slayer, or is she moping around in the dark lake? Nobody around here.
She's like, how is old Buffy? She's still sitting around here moping around in the dark like. And then she looks over to Angel and she's like, nobody around here. So it's like, because Angel like looks at her, I'm like, Cordelia, no, stop.
I know, I love it.
It's just so funny. And I like it though, because Cordelia actually asks about Buffy here as well. Like, I kind of don't expect her to do that. She just ask how the gang is as a sum up and be like, that basically includes Xander, Willow, Buffy, Giles. Like, she summed up everybody in the group. But now here we are getting physically Buffy's name mentioned. And Cordelia's like, I'm going to take the 2 seconds. I actually asked how dear old Buffy is. Apparently not moping around in the dark. Oz notes that she's good, not moping around in the dark. And then I like how he makes this comment where he points it. He goes, she's Buffy, which is kind of cool because that means he's putting her up on this little pedestal being like, she's Buffy. Like, she's always got her shit together for the most part. No, she does not. But not that he really put her on a pedestal, but I like the fact that he goes, she's Buffy. That means she's like tolerating life. She's dealing with things because she's like a powerful being. That's what I get from it anyways. It might not be true, but that's what I get. Doyle's that's what we're going with. And Courtney agrees. That's why I will kiss Courtney, marry Courtney, and live happily ever after with Courtney.
It happened way faster than I thought.
Well, I didn't want to wait for you to bring up the to-do list again that we talked about preemptively before coming in this chat. Everybody's like, this episode's all over the place. What the fuck is going on? Well, what the fuck is going on is Doyle's excited for Angel to hurry up and put the fucking ring on, explaining its properties to Cordelia about what it actually does. Oz filling in how Spike dug up Sunnydale looking for the ring, got a fistful of Buffy and left it behind, so she sent it with Oz, who was already coming this way, to make sure it would be in good hands with Angel. Angel's pondering what this means, having it, and is left behind when our other 3 head out for food and Bev, little drinky drinks. Angel immediately taking it underground in the sewer tunnels beneath his home and finding a hiding space for it below a brick in the ground for now. He's like, this is the perfect spot. He's like, I wouldn't be down. No, who else is walking around down there? You know what I mean? Unless it's like the fucking sewer maintenance person that's like down there spraying for rats or something that Angel's down there probably feasting on or whatever. The chance that there just happened to be a brick.
He's never going to live that down on this.
Well, he goes right over there and like finds that space really quick. I'm like, what else you been hiding underneath there, Angel? Like, is that where you put your crack that you stole from Lenny? Is that where you put your joints at that you buy from Joyce? So that way Doyle doesn't smoke it? Like, is that where you keep the edibles? Like, is that where you keep your blood? I don't know. I'm running out. But the next day, Cordelia helps Doyle nurse his hangover from the night before, clipping to Angel downstairs doing some of his Tai Chi before the phone rings, interrupting. I do love how upstairs, I didn't put obviously in dialogue, but like Cordelia's like ragging on him, and she's like, I bet you Oz didn't like you calling him his little, what did he say? I didn't write it down. like my little buddy or something.
Also, I don't think Oz appreciated being called my little Bam Bam all night.
I thought it was funny. Anyways, I'm just going to keep going for the Tai Chi. The call coming from Rachel, who informs him Lenny was released from jail crying, and he heads her way. She's like, Lenny's got out of jail. Which lets us know that Lenny ended up getting locked up for that night.
But I'm like, he tried to murder her.
He did, which is why they loaded him up in the Angel Mobile while he was unconscious and took him to the thing, and Rachel filed some charges. And apparently the cops are deeply stupid like they are over on Buffy, and they said, oh, we'll let him out. He's just a regular white guy. He didn't mean it. Okay. Meanwhile, they put his crack back in his pocket and sent him on out the door. Them cops were like, no, we're going to keep it. We're going to do this rock.
They're like, in exchange for that, we're going to let you go.
Listen, if any of those cops are corrupt, it's definitely Los Angeles ones. Down in his parking garage, he moves to his car, but is jumped by vamp-faced Spike with a beam, like a wooden beam or a post, something like that. He's got this big ass thing. He's smacking him to the ground with and asking him where my fucking ring is. He's like, hey, bro, where my ring? He said, where it beats her. He said, let me ask you a question. Where my fucking ring? Angel Vamp Detective tells him to go on home because the gem stays with him, and the two break into more fighting and banter in between blows. Spike just demanding again to give him the ring. Angel vamps out, overcoming Spike and tossing him across the room as Cordelia and Doyle run up. Spike quick to greet her and comment on her weight. Just a face like, Cordelia. Like, it lets us know that these two know each other in this moment. They've got some history, even though technically we've never seen them interact on the screen together. Cordelia and Willow were all hiding in a broom closet when he attacked the school. Cordelia was nowhere in sight. She was doing a spell with Oz, and then whenever they were re-insouling Angel, she just knows Spike was running around town causing problems. He never had an interaction with her. And for him to go, have you lost weight? I'm like, bro, do you even know what Cordelia looks like? Did you just know from stalking her and seeing her dancing with her friends and stuff like that at the club? Probably. AKA the Bronze, the happening spot in Sunny D that we got to talk about because it's the happening spot in Sunny D. Per Cordelia. Spike looks to Angel to promise the ring will get got, and this won't be over till one of them is a pile of dust, mate. Because, I had to keep that in there for us because we are mates. Soulmates, aka move in and live happily ever after with Courtney. I'm all like, got the paper and I'm like pointing to all the things with my little pencil. No, but I like his little comment because he's like, it's not over until one of us is a pile of dust, mate. Like, in general, just saying that's what the outcome is for us. It's not just you're dead, you're literal ash on the floor. You fit in an ashtray like my ex-girlfriend that keeps leaving me. And she ran off to steal podcast names and stuff. And sleep with whatever fungus demon is what Harmony. She left him for a fungus demon. Spike is the fungus. Angel asks Doyle to take Cordy to his place for them to stay out of Dodge, since we all know how Spike likes to play, much like Angelus, and go for the friends. Angel saying he's going to find him before he comes back to square up again. Over at Doyle's, he's calling around to his connections, I guess. He knows, asking if they have any info on Spike being in town or his potential hideout. I love how Cordy comments on not being able to get comfy at Doyle's place, and he reminds her how disgusting her place is.
I know. Oh my god, the fact that he called that back and he was like basically saying, well, I just saw your place and how it was and used it as inspiration or something else.
Literally though, which is legit because I had forgotten about it in the scene, but when I was listening back to us cover episode 2, when I was editing it however whatever way, because obviously it hasn't aired yet, when I was playing it back, you were like him stepping in the bowl of food that was on the floor, and I had forgotten because like, oh, that's disgusting. Like whenever he said that, I had forgotten about that little moment until you said it in the episode, and I was like, oh shit, Cordelia really is living slag.
I was hoping that someone was gonna call it back in that instance, just because Cordelia had the absolute nerve to be like, you live like this or whatever. And then that was my first instinct. I was like, are you kidding me? You of all people, after this man just like stepped in a bowl of old food on your floor in your apartment, like, what do you say? Acting like you got the cleaners coming to your house.
And Cordelia, she can't afford food, so she went to the fucking hotel down the street and got the breakfast that they serve, acting like she was a overnight stay or whatever, because they do the like morning breakfast or whatever, where you stay over like at the Hamptons or like whatever, no, fucking like fucking Holiday Inn or whatever the hell it is. Complimentary breakfast is what they call that. Thank you. Yes. She went down there and got her oatmeal and then took it back home and was eating it because this bitch ain't got no food. She ain't even got SpaghettiOs. Point being though, whenever he reminds her how disgusting her place is, I like when she follows up with how it smells like bong water in his apartment. I was like, oh, me and Courtney must be in there hitting the Jiffy Jolly.
Like, we would be friends for
Courtney
sure.
and him speak briefly to how bad Spike is known to be and how they should be sweating him being in town. Over with Angel, he finally arrives at Rachel's, trying to coerce her to hide out from her apartment, but she is doing that thing where she doesn't want to accept help and is already thinking about staying with Lenny instead of leaving him. The immediate fear of him having subsided, and now her nervous system just wants him back. She's like, I just got fiending for... Every fucking time. Y'all can tell we're recording at night right now. Them cats about to munch down. Y'all about to hear them chewing too because I moved the cat feeder. It's really close to my chair now.
Y'all are about to get true
Yep.
ASMR.
That's the cat's eating. It wasn't me, I promise. I would never lie to you guys. Revamped for life. Listen, though, this bitch irritated me right here because I like that she makes a better decision by the end of the episode. Not to jump ahead, but everyone's seen it. You've seen it. I've seen it. We're doing the episode. It reminded me so much, and I had made a little comment last episode, which was funny because also, again, mirroring themes. This reminded me of Debbie and fucking Pete over from Buffy, and I was like, how dumb Debbie was, in my opinion. I'm gonna say that way, I guess. We had that whole discussion in Beauty and the Beast, and like, what happened to Debbie? She was beat multiple times by Pete, and he finally killed her, and that's why Angel warns her. He's like, well, what happens the next time? This time he drew a gun on you, bitch. And she's like, oh, I don't care, I really need that dick, and now like, I just love him. I start fiending for him and needing him. Like,
that's exactly what
she said. I need that BWC. Like, but that's literally almost what happened to Rachel last night. Not the BWC, the gun, the bullets in her head. But I was like, I don't have to go in that convo about like them, like, but like, it's interesting how they play off that trope again in a certain type of way. But this is like the more adult, scaled out version, because Debbie and Pete were high schoolers on the other show. So like, he was beating her, he still killed her. He had the demonic twist, so it wasn't just a human killing a person. This is just a normal regular. Lenny's just a guy. He ain't a demon that's over here tweaking on fucking green Jamba Juice and, slinging his head all around and doing all that weird shit that Pete was fucking doing. Like, it was fucking weird, but I like how it carries over and extends into the show. Like, it kind of reminds you of these things in the past. Yes, like you said, we would come here and the unhinged would occur before recording. Angel reminds her how it doesn't last and the fact of what I just said, and she admits that she's scared of herself and this decision to make. And I really like the whole speech that he gives her about having faith in herself, and leaving him would eventually make her stronger, which could lead her to a love that would actually be worth it. Like, to me, and that's why I brought up the stuff I just did, that is much better than saying, you know what helps? Don't get hit. Like Buffy needs to take lessons from Angel for real, because I was there for it and I laughed at that moment, but like, Buffy, you really shouldn't be saying what you just said to that poor girl. She's already destructed. Here I was never thinking Debbie and Pete was ever going to come up again. We better change our names to Debbie and Pete.
That's a modern day Katie and Russell.
Oh no. My to-do list: kiss Debbie, marry Debbie, live happily ever after with Debbie, love Pete. People are like, what is this to-do list?
I'm gonna change your name in my phone right
Please
now to
do
Pete.
not.
So I'm gonna be so mad confused because it's been Heshty Heshmas for like the last, 12 years or something.
Is that really what it says? Heshty Heshmas? Oh my god. I'm fucking dead.
I think I did it one night when I was really stoned, like 12 years ago, and I thought it was like the best thing
it is
ever.
low-key, but also for me, low-key tends to mean high-key. Your name originally in my phone, like when we first like really truly became friends like that, obviously it was Courtney at first, but it transitioned into Heshty Matey Katie back in the day, and for like the longest time, I would say up until about maybe like 2015 or 16, then I changed it to Soul Matey in my phone, because you're like my mate, you're my matey Katie. It was my play on it, but we also like say like every time
you're like, now I can
literally every time like you would post from our birthday in that spectrum of time like about me or you, we would always be like, that's my soulmate, you're my soulmate forever, I'll come back every life and find you. And now it's turning into I'm gonna come back in every life and find you, because I gotta beat your ass up and fucking instead of kisses you getting fucking punches to the face and
you got to follow through with Pete's
you getting hit.
I'm gonna call this podcast Pete's Plan.
You know what? Never mind. I can't.
Pete's podcast.
Who's Pete? Petri dish. Douglas Petrie. Pete Tree. That's why he wrote the episode.
We just keep
All right, cool. Anyways,
How many more things can we relate Pete to?
a lot. Me, because I'm Pete and you're Debbie. Hello, we're your co-host. We're gonna have to change the next podcast intro to Debbie and Pete. All right, we got to continue with the episode.
Listen, you're gonna forget this, and when we come back to record next time, it's gonna be even more unhinged because we have a guest. But I'm gonna be
No,
like,
don't do it then. Don't do it then.
Debbie's back.
Back again. Rule number 6,000: don't get hit. Okay, anyways, at Doyle's, Cordy sits with Popcorn, continuing to tell him about past stories about how Spike nearly did Buffy in and has a knack for killing slayers. Two, in fact. I love how this bitch all makes Popcorn and tell him the story, and she's the one eating it. What? She goes on to talk about how Spike and Drew once raised a demon that burned people up from the inside. It was the whole thing with this arm in a box. The way she's telling a story is just like he's getting the worse than the Cliff Notes version of this. He's like, what? And like you can tell him just in his facial expressions he's trying to keep up, but obviously we know she's talking about the judge. And then I wrote my notes the next part. I was like, a fact that Doyle clearly can't get. She's like, it's a whole arm in a box situation. And what he does get is a phone call from Angel, and Doyle lets him know that he ended up finding out where Spike is hiding out as we watch Angel strap up one of his arm sticky thingy bobs. Because he's gonna shoot it out from his little arm. I do think that this is the part, because I did just read that, I do believe correctly, Doyle saying that he ended up finding out where Spike is hiding. The fact that he goes, yeah, I talked to my friend or whatever, and he said he didn't know anything about Spike, and he's like, yeah, so? And he's like, well, I didn't even mention Spike, and he was already telling me on the phone, like I called him and was like, hey, what's up, Tom? And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know who Spike is. Like, that's what he said. Like, he's like, well, I didn't even mention Spike before he told me he didn't know about Spike. Okay, what? I need to hear that phone conversation, because I need to hear how that went down. Angel goes straight to the club, twice in a row now. Not Diablique, though. That's apparently where Spike's hiding out, somewhere like this, and beating up a slew of people only to find Spike is out back. I like how he beats up literally everybody in this place, and they're like, he's out back. I'm like, how do they?
And I'm like,
they weren't giving him no information. Angel does go out to find him out there feeding on a woman, which this is crazy to see, because I had forgotten that Spike was a vampire and he could kill people and just be drinking blood from people and shit like that, because we saw him so hindered back in Buffy. You know what I mean? We didn't even get to see him kill people. Well, we saw him kill the shopkeeper for the magic store in the episode and bite her and stuff, but half of season 2 we didn't watch him kill anybody. We watched fucking Drusilla try to feed him a damn little puppy. Like, Sunshine wants you to eat her. Like, no. Spike voicing Angel's buzzkill vibes are flowing, and as the woman runs off, Angel chases after Spike, unfortunately being led to a dead end where another vampire sneaks up on Angel, roping him up in chains, not change. Spike's new plan now being executed. Call back to earlier in the episode, because I discredited most of the dialogue in this. I like whenever they're fighting in the underground, like where Angel's car is underneath the investigations office, and he's like, what'd you do, Spike? Cook up some plan? He's like, yeah, I had a plan, but I got bored. So now he had to double back down on another plan, and apparently somewhere along his little journey he's found this vampire.
You could just tell though that this guy was like a professional of some sort.
We about to find out.
That he just came through.
Well, Doyle and Cordy sit stressing about how Angel hasn't called and worrying because he's kidnapped and about to be torched. Not on fire, tortured. Doyle being optimistic, he did away with Spike and is hanging out on a beach somewhere with the Gem himself in this context. Like, I love that. He's like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. He got the ring. He's out there chilling on the beach, chilling. He's having a good old time. Cutscene transition magic to Angel hanging in a bando warehouse. Spike's favorite setting, as some real annoying classical music is playing. Music that even Spike hates, because Spike gets fucking irritated. He's like, what's with this music? And then he fucking later on slams the record player. He had to make sure that he destroyed it wasn't even playing the music anymore. And he's just like, I have to throw a tantrum and there's only 5 objects around me, but also fuck this music. But I like that little transition just because he's like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. And we're like, no, he's not. Spike is telling Angel of Marcus, his vampire friend, who is quite skilled in torture. No matter the person, living or dead, demon, he's not picky. He'll literally torture anyone, little kids especially. Especially when it comes to children, actually, it says in the sentence, because he's a fucking pedo, apparently. I was like, damn, this episode going dark. I now understand what in the dark means. Like, Marcus ain't in the dark. This is all come to light real quick with his ass. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I get Angel, whenever he was Angelus and him and Darla and stuff, they probably got off to killing kids and stuff like that because of the innocence. But this guy is given a whole different, like, the way it keeps being brought up throughout the episode. And then at the very fucking end, I'm like, Marcus, no.
I know. Yeah, it was just his whole energy was not it.
So he wasn't actually your favorite character this episode, like I said in the beginning?
No, he was so irrelevant to me that I never even once wrote his name down in my notes, and I just kept calling him Torture Guy.
I actually really like that. You're like, what is his name again?
Like, Torture Guy over here.
He's
Torture
literally
Guy.
the only other person I know named Marcus in life, other than like my sister Tiffany's ex-boyfriend that she dated in Sumter for like the longest time.
In life, like, you know him. You've been sitting down for dinner.
Hell yeah, me and him be going and getting them little children and gobbling them up.
I was gonna say, y'all must be meeting at.
Yeah, it's 100%. And this is 3 episodes now of the season 4 that we've been talking about Epstein and shit like that. Talk about how culturally relevant this bullshit is. But also, literally, this is like, Marcus is on that list, right under the other people.
Oh, he's in them files
on
for sure.
A good
unredacted. They left his name wide open, and they said, care. We don't care about him. He's gonna live forever. Literally, maybe
he's in the light, not in the dark.
He's somewhere. He's in my ashtray.
He better be. Well, anyway. Okay, I gotta continue. Marcus reads Angel for all he is, which is kind of creepy, but also very true. And he is excited about this torture sesh, questioning Angel on what he wants, because he serves his torture up with a bit of psychological warfare, hence the music. Grabbing a hot poker from a burning barrel and sticking it through Angel's torso. I didn't even see that burning barrel over there. The first time I watched this, I was like, ooh, shit. Like, that shit did not feel good, whether you dead or alive. Like, and it cauterizes it right when it goes through, too, because it's hot as shit. So now you just got Angel got a piercing. Like, no, that ain't no dermal. That's a full ass fucking no. But also, it's not the first time we've seen Angel been run through with, a spear or sword or something like that.
Yeah,
but no. Ooh, the infection, I can just feel it coming. Like, if it was a real person. Angel calls out how Marcus could just deceive him and take the ring for himself, talking about Spike, obviously. And Spike saying, no, I picked someone that, like, couldn't give 2 fucks about the ring. He's just here for the torture. Spike, you were fucking stupid. Because clearly, as we see by the end, that is not the case. You can pick a vampire. Why whack out of all Spike? You have connections in whatever way, shape, or form. Obviously, you found this bar to go hang out where people were like keeping you hush hush. You're out there killing people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like literally talking with my eyes closed right now because I'm fucking irritated over this type of shit. You picked a fucking vampire to help you out and let him know about the damn gem. Oh, yeah, there's this cool gem that like makes you invincible forever. If you're a fucking vampire, you can go out in the sun and do everything.
I know. Like,
and guess who likes to play in the sun? Little children. You knew that motherfucker. The second you said that ring, he started licking his lips on kids. He's talking, I'm about to call my buddy up, Jeffrey. What's up, man? How you doing? Listen, so I can officially party in the light and not in the dark, which is clearly what the episode's about.
I can officially come to the island and sunbathe, and I do need
and also, could you have 4 kids right there beside me, rubbing my feet? Literally, though. Oh, God. What is happening? Some time passes, and some more bars are now present in Angel's body, which is so fucked up. And Spike has grown agitated that they haven't got the ring's location from Angel. There's all 4 more bars, and clearly they've been hanging out there for a bit because it's like literally this pan like just showing that some good time has passed. And Spike is literally the epitome of instant gratification and cannot wait. Like, he was that fucking kid that was always yanking on his parents' jacket like to get the fuck out of the store early, or like, come on, we got to do this and shit like that. Like, even though he was alive in the fucking 1800s and shit, but still, that was still him. Because kids are kids. Ask Marcus. Speaking of, Marcus confidently tells Spike they will get okay with that joke. Ask Marcus. I'm dead. Marcus confidently tells Spike that they will get all the info along with everything else that he wants to know about Angel's feelings that he's currently holding back. I don't know if this is what he does with every single. It's giving that he does this with every person that he tortures and stuff like that. Wants to like do the psychological warfare to basically like kind of fuck with this person's head before they die type shit. Like, let them think about the worst about themselves, and also in a way kind of be at peace with themselves before they die, which is also kind of weird. That's cynicism at its best, honestly, in a certain way too, and just malicious, weird, ill intent. I've never seen something like Marcus before. except Jeffrey Epstein and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
In human form. Like, literally. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This was him after he became a vampire.
This is him now.
Yes, exactly. He didn't get killed in jail. This is him. All right, great.
Someone turned him into a vampire.
Which is probably added to when Spike decides to tell Angel about Buffy jumping the bones of Parker, the lunkhead over at college, clearly having forgotten about Angel, but also commenting on Parker hurting Buffy and how it's cute to see Buffy in pain. I like it whenever Angel doubled down like real quick and he's like,
She's cuter when she's kicking her ass.
like, okay. I love the little comeback, but also you see Angel's face as soon as she's talking about her fucking some other guy and the fucking... I'm like, damn. Now Marcus is about to have some extra juicy content for his little torture session. Spike decides to leave as Marcus cues up the music that went off again. Angel receiving another poker to his body, and Spike noting, now that's music, to Angel screams. I like that part. Over in Angel's home, Spike searches through it, looking for the ring to no avail. And by searches, I mean he's fucking destroying it like Buffy and Kendra's in this bitch. As we see Angel's continued torture session with Marcus, Marcus is so annoying with his slow verbiage. I cannot stand the way he talks. He drags every little word and phrase and pauses in between. I'm just like,
you're right.
What the fuck are you doing?
You're like, get to the point.
You know, Angel, we're going to stick another poker in you, and I also need to know, why do you exist? Why do you feel that you exist? I'm like, bro, just fucking kill me. Like, I don't need to talk. God damn, I'm fucking annoyed with you. Bye. That's why Angel, the word bye works so well paired with him. Bye. I didn't expect to see vampires on these shows with guns quite as much, just to point out, because Marcus is shooting holes in the fucking ceiling, letting little beams of sunlight come through, which is really cool. And they kind of almost catch Angel. It's giving him some suspense, saying like, oh, if that hits me, it's not going to kill me, but it's going to definitely scold and burn up the fucking piece of skin. It's like Drusilla with the damn holy water. It's not going to kill you, but it's going to, this is torture for a vampire. So he's getting clever. Like, I can't imagine what he does to humans, what he would possibly do to a demon. You know, he knows how to target the specific entity that he is getting through to, quote unquote, whatever you want to call that. He questions what Angel wants, if not the ring, since he's choosing to not wear it, reminding us again that he likes children and innocence. Gross. Which is what he hopes to help Angel find with the light. Pop for another fucking sunlight beam coming down on his ass. Spike cuts a corner in the home, finding a crossbow wielding Cordelia pointing it at him, with Doyle behind her as she snarks about Spike paying for damage that he's doing. She's like, I hope you expect to give me like $10 because none of this is mine, but I need $5. She's talking about Angel's damn place, like paying for shit. I'm like, Cordelia, you will take any moment to talk about some money. Fashion moment though, Spike coming back from the back room and walking in on this, and Cordelia sitting there with her hair tossed over this, like cascading over to the side, that little angle that she's got with it. She looked hot right here. That orange top that she had on, paired with her dark hair and just the angle, like that's a great shot for Charisma Carpenter. She looks beautiful right here. Awesome. All the things, like we give her claps. And even Spike comments on her hair right here. Like he's done talked about her weight and her hair. Like, Spike, you don't know Cordelia. Shut the fuck up. Like, date her if that's the damn case. Fuck. We know she likes fuck boys, and you clearly are close to one. Next, she'll be dating Parker Abrams. Spike warns them on how it will go if they attack him, which is totally true. Because he's like, you know, you'd be dead in 2 seconds. And Cordelia even like looks down with the crossbow. She thought she was all in charge and shit like that and doing something. But then she's like, oh yeah, he would fly across the room real quick and just snap my neck and kill me. And Doyle would also be dead. Also tells them how he's got Angel and is handing over find the ring duty to them, how they will be bringing it to him in exchange for their Angel. Back over with our Angel, Marcus continues to be weird and ponder Angel's good guy redemption status versus his old evil self. His back turned as Angel fondles the stake Spike fashioned earlier, which I skipped in dialogue, but I've already also talked about it in the beginning, so people know. We all saw it. We're here. Underneath his foot towards him, which I thought was nice because you can see him eyeing the fucking thing and you're like, okay, we're like, if you get that, that's awesome. Like, Spike's stupid. Spike left you something behind, and I don't understand why Marcus didn't pick this up and move it out the way. Marcus, aren't you supposed to be like paying attention to your surroundings? It's because no little kids is running around being worried about pieces of wood on the floor. Marcus pulls some of these dried pokers out of Angel's body to add to the torch, and like, no, something about it, like I don't know, I don't like the whole like I said, I just think about the infection. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. Angel finally gives in to tell Marcus what he wants, which thank fucking God, because Marcus has asked 400 times this episode. Also, where are the children? Which is forgiveness. I'm close part about children because I feel like I'm running out. Which is forgiveness, clearly to draw him in closer so that he can execute what unfortunately becomes a failed attempt at dusting Marcus with stake by his feet. I was laughing. One, this is a cool idea, an attempt to do, in my opinion, because Angel's using his surroundings. Clearly he's paying attention to the floor, and he's like, an Angel would have definitely executed, just like Buffy throwing the stake across and hitting Sunday in the fucking chest without looking. He would have staked this motherfucker right there, and then he would have like just hung out there until either Spike came back, and he would have been like, well, your lackey's gone now, so you either take me out of these chains and I take you quote unquote to the ring, or we just hang out here, you kill me, and it is what it is. Sorry, I fucked up your plan once again, and Spike's gonna be upset. Like, super cool. But also, I'm calling back to last episode, Lonely Heart, whenever you're talking about, look at Angel choking people with his feet. Now he over here trying to stake people with his feet. Angel was playing dirty.
He's just trying to get innovative.
He is. Call back also to your episode of your podcast recently, because y'all were talking about innovation on that. But this was funny because, whenever they got Angel here to the torture sesh, they had to like take all the stuff that he had loaded up with. So, Spike took his little thing off of him, or Marcus was taking off. He goes, what the fuck is that on his wrist? Like, why is there a stake attached to it? And then he plays with the mechanism, and he's like, you stake people with these things? What the fuck? Like, wild. This pisses off Marcus that Angel was a bit ahead of him and almost got until Spike steps back in to block the attack. Spike decides to help out with the torture session in the meantime, though. He's like, calm down, Marcus. He's like, we're going to be fine. We're going to get the ring. We're going to chill out. And we don't expect Spike to say any of that because he technically didn't. But he's like, it's fine. He's like, we'll get it. Doyle and Cordy search Angels, eventually making it down to the rat-infested sewer tunnels. I say rat-infested, but we know Angel ate them all because there's not any. But you see a couple scurry away that he uses to get in the rat. Oh, I don't know if we actually see any. I'm just making that up. But I know she says something. I'm like, he makes a comment. He's like, where haven't we checked yet? She's like, the rat-infested sewer tunnels he uses to get around in the daytime. Cordelia, those are not rat-infested. He ate them all. There, that's how I'll keep that in here. They head down there, and when Cordy's not looking, Doyle morphs to his demonic form and sniffs the air, helping him to hone in on the ring's location, because he goes right over there and picks it up out from underneath the fucking brick. And I'm like, so he's the one stealing all Angel's joints. Angel, that's why it was empty whenever we went to pick brick up. Angel was like, I'm gonna hide the ring here, but also where's my 2 joints I had underneath here? Mm-hmm. See? But also, like, what is that? Like, he can sniff the fucking ring? Like, I know. I mean, cool. That? It works out for the episode, but like, what?
It's a little so random.
Oh, either way, he got it. Cordelia is stunned at the fact that he found it through what he claims to have been luck. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yet not lucky enough to receive that hug from Cordelia. Because he's like, how about a hug? And she's like, not that lucky. They rush off to trade, or to make the trade, aka save Angel. Realizing, though, that they need a plan, because then Spike's invincible if he gets the ring. I love how they stop for a second to think. They're like, all right, let's get this over there. But like, wait, also, we can't give him the ring. So what are we even doing here? Why didn't we just like put it in my pocket and say it's in my pocket? And it's not. It's like a blow pop. Like a pack of Buffy's chewing gum that she's going to leave on a counter somewhere. Like,
I know. I'm like, y'all can find one of those like machines that you put like a quarter in and it gives you a fake ring.
Like, literally, though.
This is it.
Dumb. They meet up with Spike, who hides in the shadows while they stand in sunlight, telling them to take them to Angel to make sure he's okay. I like how they meet out on the side, and like Spike's actually out in the daylight, but he's like hiding underneath like a cabana, like out back of a building somewhere. And they're clearly standing in the daylight, so they're completely protected in this moment. And also how they will tell him where the ring they found is at. Spike brings them to the torture bando, which I called the rest of the episodes, and they get a glimpse of Angel hanging in there. Spike demands the ring's location, which happens to be on Doyle's person, and he tosses it over into a small patch of sunlight across the room, inching toward Angel to claim him and leave. Spike letting him know that that's clearly not what the plan was going to be, to actually let them go. Duh, obviously. He kneels down to collect the ring, only to be interrupted by the sound of wheels screeching as Oz's van bursts through the bando doors, sunlight pouring in and Spike dodging it. Fucking amazing. And you know what's better than Cordelia looking hot wielding a crossbow? Oz hanging out the driver's side window wielding 2 crossbows back to back at Spike and giving him a fucking wink and a head nod. He's like, God damn it,
I
all y'all fucking here. He's like,
know.
Buffy here too? Like, fuck, where's the Xander boy? He clearly knows who Xander and Willow is. He's talking about, where's the witch and her little fucker? They still making out in my fucking other bando? Like, what? I can hear Harmony. He just killed her last year. Talking about Willow, clearly not Buffy, as we know. Like, this, the whole thing is dope. Like, kind of by this point of the episode, you assume that Oz had dinner with them and drinks and stuff like that. We thought maybe he's gone because you haven't seen him the rest of the episode. We forgot kind of about Oz as the element, but for them to have contact to him who's still in town and be like, hey, so Oz, we need you to come over here and drive your van through this fucking bando over here. like we need to save Angel. Like,
and you know, he was probably just like, okay.
They gave him some fucking crossbows and shit. I'm curious if those were theirs or if he brought those from Sunnydale because he knows how to take care of himself because clearly Buffy has taught him well. All the things. Like, this is sexy. Like I said, what's hotter than Cordelia doing this? Oz with two, like, crossbows.
It was a
whole fucking moment. But exciting. You don't expect that at all. They collect Angel and rush him over to the van. Everyone's saved and speeding off. Spike turns back to claim the ring, only to realize that it's gone. And it turns out Marcus did have interest in the ring. Duh. Because Spike, you're dumb. I wrote here. And why wouldn't he? Us watching Marcus step into the sunlight outside wearing the ring. It's a cool little shot, though, because he steps out in the sunlight. You know, like, he, like, covers his eyes like we all would. Like, the sun's too bright. This is probably the first time since he's been turned a vampire, which I'm assuming since he's a torture vampire, he's been around for a bit because the torture was the thing that they did back in the day. Like, that's goes back to, I mean, probably further than that, but like, I think medieval times when you think torture, like people chained in a basement, and, like, in the gallows type bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like Pirates of the Caribbean type shit. Like, that's when you get tortured. Spike is pissed, destroying Marcus's record player, venting about how he's not only fought with Buffy over the ring and lost it, but came all the way to LA just to have failed in his mission. Again, like he fucking again apparently, but again, I love that he destroys the fucking record player. He's tipping over the fucking table. He's just throwing a fucking tantrum as Spike would. Like, he completely destroys the room some more and swears that he's done working with others and how he's going to be solo dolo dude, yelling out to the room for everyone to look out because here comes Spike. No, here comes a bullet hole beam of sunlight onto the back of your fucking head as Spike's head goes up in flames and he all fucking blotting that shit out. And then right after he has this whole little moment, he goes, I hope they kill each other. Like, talking about Marcus and Angel. Like, he just had his, like, triumphant moment. And then even the fucking, like, bando shits on him. Like, he ain't even safe around a fucking bando. Don't take Spike urbexing. It's a trip to the woodshed for him.
It was too much, though, especially because he was really trying to have his moment after failing miserably to do the one thing he set out to do this whole entire episode. And then when he realizes, like, what the fuck is going on, he, like, tries to still recover by, like, talking himself up and giving himself a pep talk on, like, how to move forward from this. And in the midst of that, he almost lights his own damn self on fire. And I'm just like,
his head too.
You know you got bad karma on you.
The next time he sits in that hairdressing chair to get his hair bleached out, she's gonna be like, where do you get that bald spot? She's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
First off, she's gonna be like, so I know that you thought that was a whole effect from you, like, being a vampire, but actually I told you to stay out of the beaming sunlight with all that bleach in your head.
It takes new meaning for, like, I'm gonna melt your hair off with this hair color.
Yeah, literally. It's even after the
fact.
That's
just so funny. Poor fucking Spike. But now Spike's the fuck out of here. That's the last we see of his ass. Because we flash over to a beach boardwalk where Marcus walks in vamp face with a pair of sunshades to protect his delicate eyes and, you know, also not show off his appearance. I've never seen a vampire with sunshades on. I'm just saying. Angel, the series, is doing the most. In the van racing down the road, the gang ponder where to take Angel for his injuries. Hospitals clearly being out of the question since they only treat humans, and Angel informs they need to turn around and headed to wherever Marcus is headed. They try to persuade him since he's not in the best of shape at the moment. He brings up the fact, you know, Marcus likes little kids, so they actually need to do what he's telling them to do. They got to get the fuck out of here and get the fuck over there.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah. Marcus gets his ultra creepy moment as he spots a group of kids on the pier calling out, "Hello, boys and girls." Like, that's literally how he sounds when he says it too. Like, I don't know what's wrong with his dopey ass voice. Oh boy, the girls. Like, ew.
Yeah.
His approach is, I love how you said it, because I wrote ew 3 times in my thing and you're just doing all my ughs. His approach is cut off when Oz's van comes down the pier, crashing into him, knocking him the fuck back. And we're like, okay, perfect. Cordelia hopping out to tell the kids to run the fuck off. She's like, get the fuck out of here. As Oz shoots Marcus with a crossbow, clearly not getting the sleigh due to the ring's powers, but go fucking Oz for getting it in the heart from afar. Just saying. I thought Cordelia shot that, but I noticed that Oz had it 2 seconds later. I'm like, you can't throw a stake across the cemetery and hit a vampire, but you go with a crossbow. I said, again, Buffy has taught you well, or a thing or two. Love to see it. Good job, Oz. Shining Slayer, but not. We'll see. Doyle takes on Marcus hand-to-hand some as Oz asks Angel if he's sure about what's about to occur. Angel agrees and he whips the van door open. Angel charges out at Marcus, his body engulfing in flames, breaking the two through the pier's edge and falling below into the ocean. Thank God that's what happened, because Angel was literally another second from literally being dust to dying like Russell did in episode 1. No, we don't need to see that for Angel. No. But thank God that they chose to like put it the boardwalk, the fact that they can fight underneath it safely in the shade underneath the boardwalk. The writers, the people that did this stuff, like really thought that out. They're like, well, how are we going to get Angel to do this? You know what I mean? Like, this is how you fight a vampire that is impervious to sunlight, unless you're a vampire slayer that is a human that can actually be iron. This is how this show does it, which is why we like the crossover and the vibes. Angel and Marcus duel. Marcus real sarcastic and cocky, questioning what Angel's planning to do. Kill him. I really do like that comment. He's like, what are you gonna do? Kill me? Okay. Angel retorting, after all, I did promise you a set, because he did tell him earlier in the bando, he was like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, well, I'm keeping my promise. He tosses him through a wooden support beam, creating the perfect stake. It's giving the master. Marcus rushes him, and Angel spouts to him his failure in cracking him, delivering a slew of blows and jamming him backwards onto the stake post as it impales through his thoracic chamber, aka his heart, his chest, and everything else surrounding it. Angel ending the statement with how that's got to be like torture to him. I do like how he plays this out on his final word. So basically, Marcus is getting like a fuck you to the face before he dies, kind of like what he does to people. Angel's smart in this way. I like this, but I also like cringe hardcore. Like, I know I was talking about the pokers, but just seeing him, he looks down at the thing. He's like, I'm good because I can't die. But like, that's a big ass piece of wood just through your fucking body. Like, imagine if he had pulled himself off. He just got his gaping hole that's got to heal for 2 weeks now. We've seen Angel have to get mended from gunshot wounds and now pokers and things like that.
Yeah.
Fucking what's her face? Shooting him with the arrow in damn Faith with in Graduation Day Part 1. Like, we know he's got to be mended a little bit. These things don't just heal instantaneously. Like, it takes a little bit of time. Yeah. So can you imagine how that big ass, like, if he had actually got off that thing, he would have just been chilling around with a big ass hole in him. Like, no, no. Like, I don't want to see that. I'm so glad he's on the stake.
But that's my whole thing too, is like, I get you're unkillable, but that doesn't make you exempt all of a sudden from the law and shit. So it's like, what were you gonna do with the kids? Like,
I guess he was gonna start eating them. Well, gunfire wasn't gonna hurt him regardless. They're gonna hurt like hell, sure, yes, but he can get away. He will heal over time. The cops don't know about the ring. They don't know to stake him. So he has the chance to get away after gobbling up a couple little kids, because it's going to take a second for security or whoever to get there. And then he's a vampire, so he's going to be able to fight them off, possibly break their necks.
Crazy work. He was like, I mistook this for Epstein Island.
Damn.
We were out on the beach. I got confused.
You guys, I really hope this is the last time we ever have to talk about any of this stuff, ice or any of it. Like, any of it.
We can't help that this episode is
literally is wild. Well, Marcus scoffs and reaches his arm to hit Angel, I guess, while pinned. Dumb move, because Angel grabs his hand, and it's the arm with the damn ring on it. Like, hit him with your right hand, you dumb motherfucker. Angel removes the ring, and we get the 2K per slay of Marcus. Really cool 2K per slay, though. Fine. Like, watching him turn to dust around it. And like, there's this the way it's almost like a bellowing shriek, or like this eerie like scream that he does. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to enact it because I was about to try to reenact it and do it, but I'll do it horribly. But it's like kind of like haunting sounding whenever he dies. It's like very a moan almost. it's interesting. And I haven't heard that before on either of the shows, like when a vampire does or anything like that. He's crying out like, fuck no, like this just happened to me. Angel puts on the ring and walks out into the sunlight, taking in the sun's rays for the first time in over 200 years. He smiles at the beach and everything around him as the gang run up happy this is all over. And now I was pointing out how incredibly pale Angel actually is. Cordelia comments they should get Angel home, Doyle pausing her to give him a minute, taking notice to Angel still taking in this experience as he strays away from them walking down the shore. Oz still stuck on the fact Angel's really pale.
He's very pale. I'm paler than most people.
How do you feel about seeing Angel do this? Like taking it because it clearly means something to him. You know what I mean? We get to see this experience that he has not had in 200 years. He kind of almost gets to live like a person for a second, which also probably makes his choice a little bit harder here in a moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I keep in the back of my mind when I'm seeing it, because it's kind of that bittersweetness, you know, like you really want to enjoy the moment for him, but you know that this isn't really a tangible forever option. But if it were, I feel like it would be so cool, because obviously then a lot of the issues that we've been dealing with that are angel centered immediately disappear. And then like you can see this whole situation like where you're like, oh, this would be wonderful, then he can go be with Buffy, and he can yes, he can. Why not?
With her. Hold on, let me come back a little closer. I'm trying to plug up this lamp. It's getting dark from my room. Like he can come back and like hang out in the daylight with her. Like, I mean, that was a quote that he physically said. You should. He said it in like what I think it was Reptile Boy. He's like, you deserve someone that can go in the daylight.
No, I see
with
what you're saying, because then he's like fucked anyway.
Like he can't have sex with her. He can't have life with her because he'll lose his soul and stuff like that. So like. No, you know, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really solve that.
There's a particle of normalcy there now. If he were to be with Buffy, he can actually go out on dates in the daylight with her now, if that were the case. But yeah, which is probably in his head. Like I could be a normal Joe to Buffy, or at least appear like one. If all the other stuff wasn't a problem,
but you know they could never resist that like temptation for that forever like that. That's too much, you know. But yeah, I see your point, and I kind of
you just want them to be together so bad, Angel for life.
But the fact that he does get that moment of normalcy is refreshing as much as it is kind of saddening, because you know that like this, like I said, this just isn't an option for so many reasons.
Did you immediately know that, like that he wasn't going to keep the ring? Like, or are you using that in hindsight?
No,
now?
I mean, I just assumed. You just assume, I think, or maybe I'm just assuming. I don't know, because I feel like you can see the problems as much as you can see the reward in having it. There's just as many like downsides there, you know, and that goes right into what Xander was saying, which is what does happen if some weird shit goes on and he gets his soul, and or like he goes back to Angelus basically, and then he still has this ring, and then the world is over. Essentially. So I don't know. I feel like maybe you're hopeful that I don't know what I was thinking in the moment. To me, it was just clear like, this can't really, that
kind of what we've seen
like,
too,
that
because
away.
Spike would possibly keep coming back for the ring because he clearly wanted it and stuff. Like we've seen what happens when it gets in the hand of a vampire that like wants to cause, or any vampire that would cause trouble, other than Angel, because he's insulted and he makes good, corrective, conscious, aware choices, yada yada. That's one whole element of it. Just to touch base really quickly before like I go into the last little bit, we finished talking about like the ring and all that stuff. Just Angel wearing it for the first time and getting to see like sunlight touch him, and like, yes, he is really pale. Fun joke to make, haha, he's a vampire in the sunlight. Whereas Mark has actually appeared a little bit more tan than Angel. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't cry per se, but I always feel with the score that's playing and like the moment for Angel kind of stepping out, you can tell the intensity of the sun's rays are kind of hurting him in a way, like his eyes, like he's getting adjusted back to it, but he's also taking it in. He's seeing families play and like what normal life, what happens in the world that he doesn't get to be a part of. So it's kind of got to be like a little slap in the face and also just a moment, because I'm thinking in this moment he's also making that decision to not keep the ring and what can happen if somebody else gets their hands on it, or let alone like we're talking Angelus and stuff like that too. But it almost makes me emotional watching it. I feel so bad for him, like you were kind of saying, and being like, damn, like it's kind of fucked up. Like he gets this awesome chance and stuff like that. And obviously watching it through what happens, because I don't remember like this aspect of what was going on the first watch for myself. I've seen it so many times now. I know that he's not going to keep the ring. And I'm like, damn, that's fucked up that he's like literally hanging out on the beach the one time that he will ever again in the daytime. Like there's never an option again
you're
after
more
this.
aware of it.
Either way, we arrive at sunset with Doyle and Angel on a rooftop, watching it go down for the first time in 200 years, give or take. Doyle voices Angel must feel really good, especially since having the ring changes everything. Angel is mesmerized by this rare moment. Doyle reminding him there's another one tomorrow around the same time that he can see. He's like, there's literally one every evening, right? But Angel admits there will not be for him, choosing not to keep the ring, and not just because he's got an addiction to the brooding parts of life. He thought of this from every angle and knows this isn't redemption. He knows people have help during the day. It is after dark that they don't have a clue how to operate in the world or what goes around them within it. He knows he was brought back for more purpose than just easily getting this ring. So he takes it off, picks up a brick nearby, and smashes it as it shatters with a green glow. That's the same brick that he was over there using to cover up the ring with earlier. So, not really, but basically every time I see a brick now, I'm thinking about how he has his joints underneath. Doyle lets Angel know Rachel checked in and left a message for him that she found a little faith. Not the faith that we know, the faith of like having, hope in something. Literal. Not the actual. So we know Angel truly helped her, which is nice to come by, and she made a better decision for her life. So that means his words got to her, which makes that so much better. Once again, so much better than got hit vibes from Buffy. Don't get hit vibes is what I meant to say. Angel comments on how he had a nice day, except for the bulk of it where he was tortured. He says that comment and then forgets. He's like, oh wait, hold up. The end of my day was nice. The beginning and end, seeing Oz, and then here right now. Admitting that he was truly one more poker from telling Marcus where the fucking ring was, by the way. They leave the rooftop together with joking banter as we fade to black, and here endeth the episode. That's just so funny. He's like making cracks about his mom and shit like that. They're just like gal palling up here on the fucking thing. Like, gotta say, like, just for CGI stuff, because, I'm a crackhead about stuff like that. I like the little green glow that the ring gives off whenever he smashes the fucking thing. I think that's cool. We kind of talked about it in a second. You kind of gave your statement, but I originally had wrote here, like, do you think Angel was right in destroying the ring, or do you think he should have kept it? We've kind of like surmised why that would go wrong, but like, if you were in his situation, do you feel like you would destroy it, or would you keep
it? I feel like, oh gosh, that's a good question. My instinct, or like my reflex, is to say that I would at least have tried to enjoy it a little bit longer than like a few minutes. But then again, I feel like that's just increasing the temptation to always talk yourself out of getting rid of it or doing the right thing. So yeah, I mean, I would hope that I would have enough clarity in that moment to be like, it's not, let's not fuck with this at all and make it a temptation.
I feel like for myself, like I would, if I was Angel, like in this situation, making this choice and stuff, I would have probably done like you. I would have given myself, and me and you were probably the worst for stuff like this. We would have been like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it for 4 days, and then 7 weeks later, we still got this damn ring. And we, like, you know what I mean?
That's what
I'm
saying. I would have to get rid of it immediately, but I would want to.
So it's interesting to say, like, in hopes you would want to kind of keep it and hold on, but I feel like I get a little addicted. I'd be like, I'll get rid of it tomorrow, and then it's 7 years later.
Yeah, and then like I don't know. I feel like then I would start using it for like the wrong reason after a while. Like somebody pissed me off, and I'm like, oh,
I'm gonna chase you.
You want to try me?
Got you, bitch.
You want to try me?
Yeah, they're actually getting a tan on the beach, which I'm curious if he would actually start to tan if he was getting sunlight as a vampire. Like, how does that work? We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, though. Angel having the ring, like, talking about the Angelus route, if he was to like have it like we were talking about like us, we would have been like, 7 weeks later, still have the fucking ring 7 years later. The second he becomes Angelus, he'd be like, thank God I didn't get rid of this. Like,
I know it would be so bad.
But realistically, though, we keep talking about him becoming Angelus again, him using it for the wrong reasons. I love the reasons that Angel brings up why he's not keeping the ring, because he knows that's not redemption. It's the easy way out. Like, he would just be able to fight people during the daytime, blah, blah, blah. But also something that makes him exceptional for what he is as a creature of the night. There are more things happening, which key part for why the episode's titled this. In the dark, a lot goes on that people don't have. You don't see it like you do in the daylight whenever you're in the dark about something, whether that be a secret or a situation or whatever the case. So I like how he says that he needs to be there to help people at night, and how people do have help in the daytime, like cops or like protection and in certain ways from the normal things in life. Because obviously demons and vampires and things like that, especially vampires, unless they've got the ring, like they're not walking around willy-nilly in the daytime. They're doing their action at night. And demons don't want to be sighted and spotted in the daytime. They have to stay a little bit more low key, because obviously that could, a demon, if they got open fired on by guns, most of the time they're probably going to die, So it's a whole thing with that and stuff like that. So I really like the fact that Angel made that choice and stuff like that he got rid of it, like not just as a preventative measure for like keeping it out of the hands of any other vampire himself and all that stuff. Like, I feel like that would have just been an issue. So I like the fact that he got rid of it. That's a fun choice that we arrive at talking about choice, like for the whole thing, for the episode, all that type of stuff. What did we say? Like, I've got this little thing that I found online responding to the statement that Angel's decision to destroy the ring is reminiscent of like Rose throwing the priceless diamond into the ocean at the end of Titanic. Producer Tim Minear, which this all sums up about, he says this. He said that the difference is that she throws it in the water as if it means something about Jack, but it was the other guy's diamond, and I have no idea why she's throwing it in the water, quote, is what it said. However, it makes perfect sense for Angel to destroy the ring. Can he be trusted? This is the point in the series. Minear says, if he has the power to be invincible, what would happen if he spent eternity as Angelus, which we got onto the pathway of. Angel knows that he can't be trusted. Think about Jenny Calendar in that light. The ending makes perfect sense to me, because he probably flashed back in his head and said, like, if Angelus was to get this, like, not just Jenny, somebody like that people care about are dead. Like, they're all dead. Like, because I'm gonna get them when they least expect it. I'm gonna come all day and tomorrow for them bitches. Like, literally 24/7. I'm on the clock. It ain't just like we went for like nightfall and I'm going after fish boys and all this other shit. Like, no. Gage Petrozzi. I said that weird, but like that was a little statement that I found on the thing that Tim Minear had said that I thought was interesting, how they compared like Rose keeping the fucking diamond for the heart of the ocean at the end versus like letting it go type thing. It's kind of the same thing, because she could have held on that as like a memory of Jack as the old lady, but she did not, because clearly it wasn't for Cal. But now clearly we have to do themes of metaphor. What the fuck? This one's short. The episode really uses the Ring of Amara as a metaphor for the ultimate escape hatch. It's the one thing Angel has never had access to, a way to walk in the sun, stop hiding, and basically remove all consequences from his existence. And what makes the story land is that he actually gets it and then immediately understands why he can't keep it. Because the whole point of Angel's redemption is that he can suffer. The second he becomes untouchable, the moral stakes then disappear. What's cool is how the episode puts Spike right next to that choice, because Spike wants the ring for the exact opposite reason. He wants freedom from weakness so he can dominate again, while Angel realizes freedom from vulnerability would destroy the person he's trying to be. I like that, because I didn't even really think about that contextually. Spike wants to be back on top. If he gets this ring, he's able to finally kill the Slayer, as we saw last episode, which we didn't bring up because I wanted to pair it with this episode. And he would literally feel like he's back in charge of his life again. Drusilla's left him. He's now got some semblance of like, I'm a fucking hot twitty, like with minus the, if he had the ring on, he wouldn't be getting his hair caught on fire. Like he would be powerful again in his eyes.
He could bleach his hair all he wants to.
Now for Oz being the one to bring the ring to Angel, I feel like that's a really subtle touch, because he represents that tether back to Buffy and Sunnydale, where Angel comes from, and it shows that he's still connected to something good. And Oz mirrors Angel in this quiet way too, because he also lives with a monster inside himself, aka the werewolf, but he manages it through discipline and acceptance, not by looking for shortcuts around it. Because Oz is always trying to control this, and there will be more to add on that later when it comes to certain other things. But That being said, I thought it was interesting that the reason like they chose Oz of all people, when you think about it in that way, to be the one who brought the ring versus like Willow or Xander or whoever. And then you've got Marcus on the other side of all of this, who basically represents what a vampire looks like with no inner conflict at all. He enjoys the cruelty, enjoys the torture, and doesn't wrestle with anything except little kids. He's what Angel could be if power was the only thing that mattered and conscience wasn't part of the equation. So by the time Angel destroys the ring, it doesn't just feel like it's getting rid of a dangerous artifact. It feels like a real choice. He's not smashing it because it's practical. He's smashing it because he understands that staying vulnerable is the only way he stays someone who can still choose to do good. Love that choice. He's literally choosing to do good. He's got like what I called it in the beginning of that, an escape hatch to fucking get out of it, and he decides to let it go. That's gotta take a lot. I feel like
Of course.
I feel so disciplined in my life now.
A normal human being would not be that quick
at
to
all.
make that
Me and you don't
choice,
talk
I
about we
don't
have the
think.
ring
If
for 7
that
years.
means you have immortality, basically, like
He could literally live forever and be fine, and like and exist differently. Like he could go to the butcher shop in the daytime and get his blood.
What I wonder though is, being that he's a vampire, technically he can already live forever.
Yeah, he just can't be killed.
He's just not unkillable, but like he can live forever. So I'm like, I don't really know what the advantage for a human being would be, other than the fact, like, can you still die from natural causes? You're unkillable.
Well, it
so I
doesn't
guess
have
not.
an effect. It's made specifically for vampires, talking about the ring and context to say like decision wise and stuff like that. It'd be like
so
whatever
then
we could come
like,
up with in our humane life that gives us attachment to something in that we
immortality, I think, is what it would be. You know, I think like freezing yourself at a young age,
anything, letting go of a relationship that's not good. Like what's her face, which kind of parallels Angel's choice in this, his choice to let the ring go, Rachel's choice to let Lenny go, which clearly, you know what I mean, stuff like that. But that could apply anywhere. Me not wanting to eat nacho cheese Doritos anymore because they're processed and awful and they're possibly killing my body over time, but I'm gonna still eat them. But I can make the choice to set them aside and possibly live 4 extra days of my life. You know, like I'm just saying, like it's different per person, but it's about that choice.
I get it. It's whatever your vice is.
And most people, like even with a conscience and stuff like that, like me and you argued, like we about to have that ring for 7 weeks, 7 extra days, 7 years before we notice it. We're like, damn, this ring really looks great on my finger. Let me get buried with it. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not dying. Like, which kind of brings up a cool aspect. Like if it wasn't just formatted for vampires, if a person put it on, do they get to live forever because they have the ring? You know, like I know that's not the story. But
well, and then like I said, then all these questions come into play, because if you're a human and you put it on and it does have the same effect, then what does that mean? Because it means you're unkillable, but do you still go on aging and stuff like that, or does it like freeze
I think you would still go on
kind of thing?
Well, I don't know. But
because you're unkillable, so you would just be walking around
not
like
healing.
fucking
It doesn't keep you like Wolverine, like where he doesn't age because he's got those fucking genes that keep his like body restored all the time and things like that. Like, but once again, contextually, why the ring is specifically for a vampire, not for a regular human. But it's interesting to play like the idea of what would happen, like if this were the reverse effect, or if it was a ring that just kept any person immortal, like couldn't be killed. You know what I mean? Fun fact, but actual Angel fun facts. I've got a little bit. Spike calls Angel a white hat in the episode, a reference to classic westerns, obviously, where heroes would often wear white hats, where the villains wore black hats. But the term is also used in the episode The Wish, when a vampire hunter group is known as the White Hats, aka when Giles and Oz and them speed up in his white van, vampire Xander goes,
"Oh, swell, it's the White Hats."
So I like how they had this little callback here, especially the fact that Oz is driving the van, and that's whenever it happened, but it was Giles and not Cordelia and them. Little parallel. All the mirroring. Spike's line quickly to the Angelmobile away is obviously a parody of Batman and his Batmobile, even though I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again now because we keep seeing this theme here. He's the great Avenger. I mean, it makes sense because he's in the dark, he's in the shadows, he's somebody that he literally mirrors Bruce Wayne in so many different ways. So I get why they're drawing these little fun, interesting parallels between Batman and fucking Angel, let alone from the gadgets. Confronting Spike as he wrecks Angel's apartment in search of the Gem of Amarra, Cordelia refers to a 1994 incident in which actor Johnny Depp was arrested in connection with some serious damage to a New York City hotel suite. I don't remember that happening because we were 4 years old, but some crazy shit. I mean, we remember the Amber Heard bullshit that was going on. Like Johnny Depp has apparently had a very interesting life when it comes to outside of movie role filming. His roles in the movies when filming a show. I was like, but I was like, damn, I think it's fun whenever the show puts little things like that up there because there's so many like little quotes Like, it's like when someone in a show or something like that from the time says something about OJ, or like they did on Buffy before, and we're like, oh shit, not the OJ trials. Damn, this show's dated as fuck. It just shows you what was relevant at the time. A theater marquee outside of the movie theater displays the film titles Deep Blue Sea and The Sixth Sense, which were actually premiering at the time. Mozart's Symphony Number 41 in C major is the song that Marcus chooses to play on the record player. It is the longest and last symphony that Mozart composed, and it was regarded by many critics as amongst the greatest symphonies in classical music. Just to say, I looked this up because I was curious. You know, obviously, like, we've had moments where angels had books on the show, or little small things like the teachers writing what the lesson is on the board at school, and it's about our theme or metaphor or something for the episode. It's contextual. I thought maybe that this song was put here for a specific reason. There's nothing. Like, I typed in all, like, looking up, I went on a rabbit trail trying to find anything that I could on anything. Google searching, like, what does the symphony mean? Like, what is the song about? Kind of like how you would look up, like, what lyrics to a certain song is about. What's you know, Billie Eilish's Wildflower supposed to be about? Bullshit like that. Trying to figure out, like, if there's, like, some deeper meaning and reason why they use this, and I really couldn't find one. They say it's the longest and last symphony that he composed. The fact that it's a really long symphony out of all of the things that Mozart created, and the last one, I think that's why Marcus plays it, because it's meant to be the last thing people hear, and the fact that he's playing it over and over and over again, it makes it long. You know what I mean? So it's already a long song, even longer than it is. Yes. So I thought that was interesting that he uses this song for a torture sesh. I thought maybe it was like, it helped to bring up who you are. The song is supposed to be like, the symphony itself is like, maybe Mozart was, since it's his last one too, maybe he was like surmising how he felt about himself or something like that. So I had to like chalk that to myself. Just reading that statement though made it make sense for me, and I was like, interesting. So I guess that's why the song was in here. Otherwise, I will not be listening to it, because I'm going to think about Marcus and I won't be thinking about him. All right, so now we can get into our final slays.
Final slays
In the dark. Somebody cut on the lights. I thought about that one whenever I was getting some fries at McDonald's earlier. I really wanted some French fries, and I was like, this is the closest thing. I don't know why I was craving them, and I had them in the fridge the other day, and I was like, French fries sound so good. I haven't had French fries in a while. What do you have for quotes this episode? Go from talk about French fries.
Let's see. Oh, I know you already mentioned this, but when Spike was doing the commentary for Angel and Rachel talking, and he's like, I understand, I have a nephew who's gay.
Once again, Angel's like coming out with the gay people, like the comments about being gay and shit like that. Larry's the only thing we had it on Buffy.
I know, he really has. He's gotten a lot of that speculation just since the show started. That's really funny. Cordy to Oz when she says, you're the total embodiment of all things Sunnydale, and Oz says, it's a burden, but I manage.
Literally.
And then Oz about Angel being a detective, and he's like, does he have a hat and a gun? And Cordelia goes, just fangs.
That one is good. You didn't choose any of them. Awesome. So I had two from Doyle. Doyle was doing some funny shit when Doyle was talking about the poolside tanning, the bargain movie matinees, and a Fabo lunch spot at the strip club. And then he goes back and he goes, oh, I've only heard about it. Like, you know, he goes there every day for lunch. Like, every fucking day.
Like, they got a good brunch or whatever.
I'm dead. Then him later taking the aspirin for his headache and talking about how it would just be convenient enough in his luck for a vision to occur at this moment to really kill him. Like, when he's taking that medication, like, that's
he's
us.
talking about, it would feel really great right
fucking
now.
mind-splitting migraines I get, because that's like us. That's like us. That's how we say exactly. What everything's
no, I know. I totally thought about us when I heard him say that, and I was like, "Here goes Brandon and I starting on the opposite day rant on opposite day on opposite day."
100%. I'm glad you understand, because that's how life happens. Everything bad's already happened to you, and that's the one last thing that's finally just gonna do you fucking
like,
in. I'm
not?
going
Just
fucking wild. I'm killing everybody.
Yeah.
I had another one that was from Cordy trying to keep from going to Doyle's, saying Spike can't come in uninvited, and Doyle is following up with, nah, but he can burn the place down with her inside, and she quickly agrees to go with him because of the fact that, like, she's like, no, we can literally just go to my place, he can't get in, you know? And he's like, well, bitch, he's got a matchbook that he can set your fucking home on fire and you either die inside or come out. Like, what? I like that take though, because this is years before it happens. This actually happens in the movie Fright Night, the film remake. Like, a what's his face that plays the vampire in that movie, he actually gets the people out of the house by setting the house on fire, like lighting the gas main and blowing up the house. Literally, like, because you're like, oh, we're safe, we're inside, the vampire can't get us, and he's already thinking 2 steps ahead, and out there digging the fucking gas line up to fucking set the house on fire. I'm like, oh shit. They're watching him from inside while it's happening. They're like, oh fuck, what's he doing? And then they're like, oh shit, like, you're fucked. Which, by the way, we still need to watch that movie together. I have it on my list. Don't ever watch it. We're gonna cover it. It's gonna be a bonus episode because it's about vampires, bitch. Okay. And then my very last one is Marcus opening up Angel's shirt, stating his skin, and Spike continuing, "Annoying, isn't it? It's still attached." It's so dope.
Oh man.
Who's your champion this episode?
Well, initially, I put Oz because the whole moment we already discussed with him, like being a badass with the band and the crossbow and the whole thing, and then obviously that crossbows and everything, but then that quickly transitioned into Angel because of how things ended, and that he was also brilliantly smart and how he executed killing someone who is unkillable by trapping him on this thing first by like impaling him and then pulling the ring off. Like the quick thinking was great. And yeah, so
I agree. Mine were the same too, sort of, but first, obviously, of course, Angel overall, just because of his choice and everything like that. It come down to not even how he like took out Marcus or anything like that. Just after this long ass bullshit day he had, this motherfucker chooses to do what he does and literally saves the day, and he is a champion for this choice. But my jokey first one was Oz's van is the champion this episode because the van coming clutch. The van is what got the ring over there. Oz is the one driving the van, the Volcom sticker, the Bando crash out, like all the things. All right, what do we land on for Wiggins?
Everything about Marcus, especially his favoring toward children.
Mine says, can it be anything other than Marcus and his especially gross pedo psycho persona?
Yeah,
his PPP, his pedo psycho persona. All right, what slayed for you this episode?
Obviously
coming in hot with the van and the double crossbows. Okay.
Yes. Okay, we talk about it anymore, but yeah,
that fucking slayed. Also, as a little second up, a little honorable mensch, Angel jumping out and setting himself on fire to be able to get Marcus off the fucking pier, like away from them damn children. He said, Jeffrey, not today. So you're at predictions. The next episode of Angel is entitled I Fall to Pieces.
Ooh.
I don't like this episode. I don't dislike it, but it's like if there was ever an episode of Angel I wasn't going to watch, it's going to be this one. And maybe like a few others.
That doesn't give me high
it's not
hopes.
Bad. I'm just like, it's kind of skeezy.
Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, like, obviously, is it like a play on like falling like in love in some sort of way? Is that an element of it, or is that
sure?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously something like that doesn't end well.
All right, great.
That's what it sounds like to me.
All right, we'll see. You can definitely be texting me about this one, and then there's gonna be some jokes. I already know it. I ain't done the script for that one, but I'm already hearing some.
Oh, good. You can go ahead and share our screenshots.
All right, well, that's it. In the dark, we're turning on the lights and we're getting the fuck out of here. How do you?
Goodbye.
No, not yet. Before you leave, how do you guys feel about Angel's decision to give up the ring? Was this the wisest choice? Are you side keep the ring or destroy it? Do you love Oz coming over to join up with Angel investigations? Did you enjoy seeing back-to-back Spike moments across this one big crossover storyline? Let me know how I already know how y'all feel about Marcus, but I need y'all to tell me. Just sound off in the comments and be like, I fucking hate him. We don't like Marcus. No. Let us know. And we will be back next week for Halloween because it's spooky time in Sunnydale. So we'll catch you all back here for our next Buffy episode. Don't forget your Halloween costumes. We promise you won't be turning into them this year, but maybe pack a couple weapons just in case.
You're an idiot, Spike. You think? No, because I'm not the one chained to the ceiling with hot pokers on the side. You hired a vampire. What do you think he's going to do with the ring when he finds it, huh? Hand it over to you? Good Lord. Why didn't I think of... Oh, Mo. I did. I hired a guy who doesn't care about the ring. or anything else on God's green earth, except taking blokes apart one piece at a time. It's called addiction, Angel. We all have them. I believe yours is named Slutty the Vampire Slayer.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Angel on Revamped. Be sure to join us next week for a new episode release as we continue the fight for redemption. We would love to hear from you, so share your thoughts and perspectives on this or previous week's episodes by following us on Instagram and sending us a DM at revamped_rewatch podcast or by emailing us at revampedrawatchpod@gmail.com.
And if you're interested in a world left behind, check out my show, Echoes of Elsewhere, an urban exploration podcast where I uncover the hidden mysteries of forgotten places, interview other explorers, and share with you my tips and tricks of the trade. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, remember, if nothing we do matters,
then all that matters is what we do.
This podcast is dedicated to the Buffyverse, to its fans, and my sister, Tiffany Dawn Pearson.